Welcome back, Nick Lenz. Comic Corner, classic slash non-classic. This is episode number 1005 and double shot number 899. Next one, the 900th double shot. Okay, I have two DC trades. First up, this one's actually a pretty thick trade. This is, just a second here. Anyways, yes. This is Catwoman by Jim Balent, Book 2, License to Steal. Yeah, this isn't the cover, but that's not the official name of the book for some strange reason. Okay, this book collects Catwoman Volume 2, Issue 0, 1424, the Catwoman Annual, and Showcase 95, number 4. You got about 4 different writers in the issues. Now, Jim Balent draws everything in this trade. Now, the issue 14 that's done by Mary Jo Duffy is actually our last issue for the series. Doug Moak did issue 0. 15 to 21 is actually done by Chuck Dixon. Deborah Pomeranz does the last few issues of the trade. Of course, Jim Balent actually co-writes the showcase issue with Deborah Pomeranz. Jordan B. Gorfa actually writes the annual in this trade. Yes, there's an annual in here. And number 2. Now, the first couple things in here is the 0 hour stuff. The Catwoman one is just basically seeing her reaction to the whole 0 year stuff. Also seeing various different versions of her. Yeah, that's pretty much what this is. It's pretty much like the first issue is like what the heck she was up to during 0 hour. And then the 0 hour stuff is just kind of a new backstory for her. That's simply what the issue 0 is. Which is done by Doug Moak, who actually takes over as regular writer with issue like 40 something. But yeah, he takes over regular writer even after that. After Dixon leaves, yeah. And then we have the Chuck Dixon storyline, Catatale, which has Catwoman working for a government agency to go to this country to steal this painting. Also, the guy who runs the country tries to get her to marry him. Doesn't go anyplace. So, and of course, last few issues. Yeah, that's the whole Catatale thing. That takes up most of the issues in this trade. The stuff after that is her going back to Gotham and stealing various things. Now, this particular era, why is it called by Jim Balent? Is it by, like, let's say, whatever writers in the book? Because he was the artist of this issue this period of time. He drew this book for the first 77 issues. Now, this run lasted for 94 issues. I wasn't reading it at the time these books came out. I read these books in the last, 10, 15 years. Well, actually, mostly I've been reading it. I've been reading Catwoman now for 10 years now. I'm reading Catwoman. Yeah, I pretty much when I did my DC back in 2010, Catwoman was a Batman book. Jump onto this particular book. Now, throughout this run, she only wore this costume. Never wore any other costume than this one. Now, those of you are thinking, wait, this can't be the Catwoman costume because it's not the black leather look that she's not wearing. Yeah, okay. Now, these issues came out back in the 90s. This is a run that started back, I think it was like 1982, I think it was. No, it was 93, yes. Started back in 1993, ended in 2001, which a lot of series ended that particular year. And this costume, this skin-tight purple costume, this is basically what this run was known for. Her wearing this particular costume and having the long purple hair stick out back of her head. Nowadays, she's got a tomboy look, which people do love that look about Catwoman. And the fact that she was wearing, up until the most recent Catwoman book, the Emma Peel costume. But when the book came back in 2003, 2 years after this run ended, she looked at this costume like, nah, I'm not going to wear this costume anymore. I'm going to wear the leather costume. But in the case of the stuff by Chuck Dixon, that was quite interesting. Chuck Dixon was known for doing stuff like this. But of all the books he wrote, this book was actually the book that actually had the shortest run on. Because every single book he's known for doing in the 90s from DC, he was in the book for a good period of time. This book, he was only in the book for about 2 years. And then he left and handed out Doug Moak, and this is one of the 2 books he did for a certain period of time. Yes, and Dixon wrote almost everything for almost all the Bat books in the 90s. He was a regular writer for them, except for Batman. He did write some issues of Batman, Shadow the Bat, and Azrael. Yeah, he wrote everything. That's Chuck Dixon for you. This guy was a guru for talking. The Catwoman Annual. This is simply put what Catwoman was up to just after the events of the story of the classic Frank Miller storyline, Batman Year One, which established the retcon that, because if you read the story, Catwoman is portrayed as a prostitute. Yeah, because a lot of people didn't like the aspect about Catwoman. Didn't like that part of Catwoman in that storyline. Yeah, this annual retconned it where she was never a prostitute at all. That was all but a lie. This also had the debut of Holly Granger. This particular woman later became a supporting character in the third volume of Catwoman by Ed Brubaker. Yeah, this is her debut appearance. She revealed to be dead for some period of time, but this is an early chronological appearance because she actually died in the Action Comics Weekly stuff when Catwoman had featured there, and then she was retconned to be alive in that book. Though she did come back recently in Tom King's sort of Batman. The writing here is good. I know that some people are not really big fans of this costume, and people not fans of Jim Balent that very much. I mean, I'll talk about more a little bit in a minute, but I'm gonna get this book roughly a 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10. It's really good. I enjoy the stuff in here. Now, the thing of Jim Balent is that when people think of him, people think of, well, how should I put this? People think of a series he currently does now that comes every 2 months. It is Terror Witch the Black Rose, a series where the main character goes naked every single issue, most of the time for absolutely no reason at all. Either she's having sex with a boyfriend or one of her various girlfriends because the character's bisexual, or her character strips her clothes off from various characters she battles in the series. That's what the series is known for. Yes, this is what Jim Balent does nowadays. Yeah, but it doesn't color the book. I think the colorist is his wife, I think. It's someone he works with, but I like the writing for the series. I think the artwork is pretty good, but I would not recommend Terror Witch the Black Rose for kids, because there is an infamous line from one of the issues where the main character's love interest, who she later marries in issue 100, basically tells a woman that her private area is haunted. I'm not going to say what the line says, but that was an infamous line from one of the issues. Yes. I'm not really sure of why Jim Balent wrote that, but he did. It's one of the most strangest things the guy has done. But yeah, now there's something a lot more interesting. We have next, Superman Action Comics, The Oz Effect. Yep. Excuse me. This is written by this is Action Comics 895 to 992. Yeah, I thought I had reviewed this storyline, but nope, I never have. Yeah, this is actually going to be my last try. I'm going to talk about my final thoughts Dan Jurgens for a minute when I first talk about this. Now, this is done by Dan Jurgens and Rob Williams. Rob Williams is the first couple issues here. The other, of course, done by Dan Jurgens. Now, the whole thing with the Oz Effect. Now, yes, the cover does spoil who the Oz is. Those of you who don't know who the heck this guy is named behind Superman, that's his biological father, Jor-El. Yes, a guy who, according to almost every single Superman fan, died on Krypton when it was destroyed. Yes, though Dan Jurgens is tried to explain the next storyline, but time travel snaggins. Yeah. The whole thing, Mr. Oz, this is something that I've been building up since DC Rebirth. This story came out the same time as A Lonely Place of Living, a storyline done by James Tiff in Action Comics. Came out the same month. This particular storyline was treated as a big event because Dan Jurgens basically probably knew about this particular thing. It's something that Jeff Johns set up. Yes, Jeff Johns set this thing up in DC Rebirth 3 years ago, and Dan Jurgens is finally paying it off. Toward the end of his run, mind you, yes. The whole thing with Rob Williams, that's a quick little two-parter, which has Superman team with Lex Luthor to solve some machinist character. Yep. Now, the artwork and the rest of Dan Jurgens, I'll talk in a minute. The artwork in here is done by, of course, Dan Jurgens, who does some of the issues. You have Victor Bedovic, I think it's pronounced the guy's name. Yes, the guy's artwork is very similar to that of Patrick Gleason and a few other artists I know of. Yeah, Patrick Gleason is not one of the artists on here. We also have Ryan Snook, Gilliam March, Will Conrad, Jonathan Gullipin, Jay Liston, Trevor Scott, and Scott Hanna. Nick Bradshaw does his cover art here, along with Brad Anderson. The whole Oz Effect storyline, because the whole thing of the mystery of the storyline is revealed who Oz is, basically Jor-El, and Superman is doubting this, which that is actually completely agreeable, because according to him, and of course a lot of records he basically found, Jor-El died on Krypton. As for how the heck this was accomplished, it's not thoroughly explained of how the heck this was accomplished. It's just that, well, it was. It's particularly a little odd of how the heck this was. And this whole world disaster thing, and the fact that, well, John basically explained that, well, calls him Granddad. And of course, we also see something that fell off with Superman Reborn storyline, where it revealed the cell where Mixie Mixelpick was being held. Also, the prison that he was held in looked a lot like the Tower of Fate, but damaged. Yes, I'm not sure why the heck Dan Jurgens did this for, where he based this tower on the Tower of Fate. Those of you who don't know what the Tower of Fate is, it is pretty much the place where Dr. Fate lives. Yeah, it basically is his house. It's kind of like Doctor Strange is saying at Santorum, instead of being a mansion, it's a frickin' tower, which is also kind of a maze. Yep. Also, Jor-El gets a chance to meet his daughter-in-law, Lois Lane, which he has no problem with her at all. Nope. Surprisingly, he actually has no problem with the fact that Clark, that his son married a human. Yeah, he's very agreeing with it. You see, when we look at this tower, this does look a lot like the Tower of Fate. Yes, as for if in fact that Superman doesn't explore any more of this complex, I'm thinking it probably is Tower of Fate, but Dr. Fate just basically unavailable. Yes, they do show off. Now, here is Mixie Mixelpick's cell that he was in. Now, the one thing I do criticize, I do have one minor critique of the storyline. They don't show the other levels of this place. Yes, as for, well, they do show that Doomsday is here. Yes, because, well, this is after the Logan Place is dying. And, well, actually at the same time. And here's Doomsday in a cell. Which, yeah, how it's explained how he got here is that, well, Jor-El intercepted the signal for the Phantom Zone, basically sent him to this prison. As for where the heck this prison came from, who designed it, and who the heck is else kept here, that is never explained. Yes, my friend Tivia thinks that, well, this prison also held Connor Kent. Yeah, the clone of Superman from the one that debuted back in the 90s. He thinks he's being held here. I mean, they never reveal who else actually was held here. I mean, the only people they reveal was held in this prison was Tim Drake, the Tim Drake from Titans of Tomorrow, Doomsday, and Mixie Mixelpick. That is all that was kept in this prison. I mean, I had a theory that this prison, before the reveal, was actually a building in some other place, wherever it was. I thought this was the original Justice League satellite. That's what I thought this place what was. I had that theory rolling around my head that this place was the original satellite, the original one from the 80s, from the 70s, 80s. I thought it was that one. Nope, it's a building that's based upon the Tower of Fate, with tombstones out of it. Okay. I'm glad the fact Dan Jurgens did reveal where this prison was, but for some strange reason, now they don't actually. They do have Batman here, which I think is great, because why not? But they don't have him reveal this was the place also Tim Drake was being held. Nope. Doesn't even take him there. It's like we see his prison for like one issue, and it's never brought up again. It's not even brought up in the current Superman by Michael Bendis. Yep. But this storyline is fantastic. Now, I know that my friend Edgar is not a fan of nostalgia stuff, but this is nothing to do with nostalgia at all. This is a storyline that built up over the course of a year. Yes, just like the Black Dawn storyline in Superman, Dan Jurgens built this storyline for a whole year. I give this book also a 9.5 out of 10. It's really, really good. Final thoughts on Dan Jurgens' run. Now, this run is basically noteworthy for throwing a lot of nostalgia in there, like the Super Revenge Squad, and of course, references to the Superman from the 90s. I don't have a problem with the stuff that Dan Jurgens basically put in here because the guy knows what he knew what he was doing when he took over the writing for this particular series, even doing occasional artwork, because he wrote and drew this character throughout the entirety of the 1990s. So he knows all about Superman. He's an expert on him. Well, expert on basically what was done back in the 90s, but yeah. But it's just really, really good. This particular storyline that this run really is. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I know my friend Edgar is not exactly like a big fan of nostalgia stuff for this particular era for DC, the Rebirth stuff, but this kind of led toward the end of Rebirth. The Rebirth logo is not on the trade here, but this pretty much was the Pendulum storyline. This right here, because next storyline that came right after this storyline was Booster Shot, which I think was fantastic because this thing ends with the return of Booster Gold for the first time since Convergence. Excuse me, yeah, and the way he's written here, he's written to be like the pre-Flashpoint. That from the look from the costume, it's the pre-Flashpoint Booster Gold, not the one who appeared in Justice League International, the one from New 52. This is the original Booster Gold. I know that Linkara did a review of the storyline The Gift, which came out after Booster Shot. Yeah, I did kind of review. I thought it was okay. I think it was all that good. I think it was an awful story. I think it was okay. And I do agree about the opinion about the artwork for that, because Tony Estino is one fantastic artist. So was Dan Jurgens. Fantastic artist as well. So yeah. The thing with this particular era, it's good. Really good. And I think Bendis himself is doing a good job starting off the era. And I'm loving the event of Leviathan miniseries. It's really good. Yes, because, well, Bendis is good at spy stuff like this. He doesn't do a lot of spy stuff in Marvel, but the spy stuff he did do is really good. So yeah, that's particularly it for this particular review. And this is also my last video planned to do today. I don't plan any more videos today. Tomorrow I think I might have about one or two videos planned for, probably about at least one, maybe two videos planned for tomorrow. If there isn't a video planned for today, it'll just, I don't know, maybe in our comic corner. Depends on what to do, okay? But see you next review. Bye.